Stories about the men called Samuel, Saul, and David. From the book in the Holy Bible called 1 Samuel. About these stories. These stories are about things that happened about 3,000 years ago in the country called Israel. Somebody wrote these stories in a big book called Samuel, with lots of other stories. But it was too big, so they split it into 2 books, called 1 Samuel and 2 Samuel. They were in God's book that the Jewish people had before Jesus came to this earth. They are now in the first part of the Holy Bible, called the Old Testament. We have not yet translated all of the stories from 1 Samuel. The stories in this book are about 3 men called Samuel, Saul, and David. Samuel was God's messenger to the Israel nation. God got him to pick Saul to be their big boss. At first, Saul lived the right way, but later he went wrong. So God told Samuel that he was going to make David the next big boss of the Israel nation. David was a very young man at that time. As he grew older, Saul got jealous of him and made trouble for him. These stories are important, and we can learn a lot from them. They help us know what God is like and how he looks after his people, and they show us the sort of person God wants. 1 Samuel chapter 1. A woman that was called Hannah asked God for a baby boy of her own. Verse 1.
There was a man called Elkanah. He was from Ephraim's tribe, and he lived in a town called Ramah in the hill country. His father was Jeroham. His grandfather was Elihu, and his great-grandfather was Tohu. He belonged to the Zuph family. He had 2 wives called Hannah and Peninnah. Peninnah had some kids, but Hannah had none. Every year, Elkanah used to go with his family from Ramah to Shiloh. They went to Shiloh to show respect to God, the boss of everything, and to burn meat for him. At that time, God's ceremony house was in Shiloh. An old man was there called Eli. He was the leader of God's ceremonies. His 2 sons, Hophni and Phinehas, also worked in God's house. They looked after God's ceremonies too. When Elkanah was in Shiloh, he used to burn meat to give it to God, and he gave some of it to his family to eat. He gave meat to Peninnah and her kids. His other wife, Hannah, had no kids. You see, before this time, God stopped her from having kids. But Elkanah loved her very much, so he used to give lots of meat to her. But Peninnah used to make fun of her because she had no kids. So Hannah got upset. Every year it was like that. Whenever they went up to God's house at Shiloh, Peninnah used to make fun of Hannah until she cried. She felt so sad she couldn't eat. Her husband used to ask her,
"Why are you crying? You have to eat. Don't be sad. Don't keep on worrying that you have no sons. I love you very much anyway."
One time at Shiloh, after they finished eating and drinking, Hannah got up and went to God's house to talk to God. The old man Eli sat on a chair at the door of God's house. Hannah was so sad. She cried and prayed to God like this.
God, you are the boss of everything. I am just your worker. I'm sad. Please help me. Don't forget about me. I want to ask you this. Let me have a little boy. If you do that, I'll give him back to you so he can work for you until he gets old. Nobody will cut his hair so that other people will see that he belongs to you.
She talked quietly to God for a long time. Eli saw her mouth moving, but couldn't hear anything, so he thought she was drunk. He said,
"Why did you come here drunk? Throw that wine away."
Hannah answered,
No, old man, I'm not drunk. I haven't drunk any wine at all. I'm a sad woman. I talked to God, and I told him my story. Please don't call me no good. I am properly sad. I want God to help me.
Eli said,
"Don't worry. Go now. We Israel mob follow a good God. He will do whatever you ask him."
Hannah said to him,
Thank you, old man. You have made me feel happy now.
and she left God's house, and she went and ate some food. Her face was not sad any more. The next day, Elkanah got up and went with his family to show respect and pray to God once again. Then they went home to Ramah. Then Elkanah slept with his wife Hannah, like married people do together. But God didn't forget that Hannah asked for a boy. Some time later, she really did have a little boy, and she named him Samuel. That name means God heard. She said,
I asked God for him, and he heard me, so I'll name him Samuel.
Hannah promised to give the boy Samuel to God. 1 Samuel chapter 1 verse 21.
A year later, Elkanah went with his family to Shiloh as usual to show respect to God and to burn meat and give it to him. You see, long before, Elkanah promised to do that, so he wanted to keep on doing it. But his wife Hannah stayed at home. She said,
My baby is still drinking my milk. After he stops drinking my milk, I will take him to Shiloh to give him to God. Then he will stay at that place all the time.
Elkanah said,
All right, if you like, stay here until your baby stops drinking your milk. After that, God will help you to keep your promise.
So Hannah stayed home with her little boy while he was still drinking her milk. Sometime later, when the boy was bigger, he stopped drinking her milk. Elkanah went with his family as usual to God's ceremony house at Shiloh. Hannah and her son went too. They took a big bull, a bag of flour, and a big leather water bag full of wine. Elkanah and Hannah killed the bull and burned it for God. Then they took the boy to Eli, the old man that looked after God's ceremonies. Hannah said to him,
Old man, do you remember me? A long time ago, I stood here with you. You heard the way I cried and prayed to God. I wanted a little boy, and God heard me. He let me have this one, just like I asked. Now I want to give him to God. He will work for God until he gets old.
After she told him that, they showed respect to God.
1 Samuel chapter 2. We have not yet translated chapter 2, verse 1 to 10.
After that, Elkanah and his family went home to Ramah. Samuel stayed at Shiloh, and there Eli taught him the way to work for God.
Eli's 2 sons were no good. 1 Samuel chapter 2, verse 12.
Eli's 2 sons both looked after God's ceremonies, but they were no good. They didn't respect God. If somebody gave meat to God, those 2 used to take meat the wrong way from that person. You see, the Israel mob used to boil meat in a big cooking pot at God's ceremony house. One of Eli's sons used to tell a worker to get meat for him. The worker used to come with a big fork and stick it into the cooking pot to stab some meat. Some bits of meat got stuck on the fork, and that meat was like pay for that ceremony man. Maybe the worker got lots of meat on the fork, maybe a little bit. All the Israel mob used to go to Shiloh to give meat to God. Those 2 did the same to everybody whenever they came to Shiloh. But that was not the right way to do it. They should burn the fat in the fire first. But those 2 didn't do that. The worker used to tell the owner of the meat,
"Give me meat for the 2 men that look after God's ceremonies, so they can cook it on the fire and eat it. They don't like meat that's boiled in water. Give them raw meat."
that man might answer,
Wait for me to burn the fat first, then you can get the meat.
but the worker said,
"No, give it to me right now, or I will just take it from you."
So Eli's 2 sons kept on doing things the wrong way. They didn't respect God or his word. God was angry with them.
Hannah used to go and visit Samuel. 1 Samuel chapter 2, verse 18.
The boy Samuel worked for God. He wore special clothes like those of a man that looked after God's ceremonies. Every year, Hannah went to Shiloh with her husband to burn meat for God. And every year, she took a new coat to Samuel. Eli used to pray to God for Elkanah and Hannah like this:
God, you gave this woman a boy, just as she asked, and she gave him back to you. So give them other kids now instead of him.
Then they used to go back home. And God was really good to Hannah. After that, she had some other kids. She had 3 boys and 2 girls. All this time, Samuel grew up in God's house, still working for him.
Eli warned his 2 sons. 1 Samuel chapter 2, verse 22.
Eli became a really old man. He heard that his 2 sons did wrong things to the Israel people. He also heard that they slept with the women that worked in God's house, like men sleep with their wives. But those men were not married to those women. Those women worked at the front door of the house. Eli said to his 2 sons,
Lots of people tell me that you do bad things. Why are you doing that? My sons, stop it. Lots of God's people talk about you. That bad news is everywhere. You know, if a man does wrong to another, somebody can ask God not to punish him. But if a man does wrong to God himself, nobody can ask God not to punish him.
But his sons didn't listen to him. You see, God already made up his mind to kill them. But the boy Samuel was growing up the right way. God loved him, and so did everybody else.
1 Samuel chapter 3. God called out to Samuel. Verse 1.
At that time, God talked only to a few people. Only a few saw dreams from God. The boy Samuel helped Eli, and he did his work for God. Eli was a very old man, and he couldn't see very well. Every night he used to sleep in his usual place in God's house. One night the old man lay asleep. Samuel was a big boy by this time, and he slept in God's house too, near the place where they kept God's special box. After the sun went down, they used to light a lamp there. One night, when it was still burning, God called out to the boy.
Samuel.
The boy answered,
Yes, what is it?
and he got up and ran to Eli and said,
Yes, what is it? You called out to me?
Eli answered,
No, I didn't call you. Go back and lie down.
So Samuel went back and lay down. Then God called out again.
Samuel.
So the boy got up again and went to Eli and said,
Yes, what is it? You called out to me?
The old man said,
No, boy, I didn't call out to you. Go back and lie down.
You see, Samuel didn't know God yet. It was the first time God talked to him like that, and he didn't know his voice. After that, God called out again.
Samuel.
So the boy got up, and he went to Eli again and said,
Yes, what is it? You called out to me?
Then the old man knew that it was God that called out to him. So he said,
Go back and lie down. If somebody calls out, say like this, Yes, God, talk to me. I am listening to you.
So Samuel went back and lay down. God came and stood close to him, and he said the same thing again.
Samuel.
Samuel said,
Yes, God, talk to me. I'm listening to you.
Then God said to him,
I will do something different in this place. After the Israel mob hear it, they will be shocked. I will finish up Eli's family, as I said before. I told Eli, I am angry with you and your family, and I will finish you all. You knew that your 2 sons did wrong things, without any shame, and with no respect for my word. Everybody hates them now, but you didn't stop them at all. Your family did wrong things lots of times, So I tell you and your family that if you burn meat for me to try to make me happy, it will not work. I will still punish you, mob."
Samuel heard it, and he went and lay down again. Early the next morning, he opened the door of God's house as usual. He was frightened to tell Eli the story God told him, but the old man called out to him,
Samuel, come here.
Samuel answered.
Yes? What is it?
The old man asked,
What did God say to you? Tell me straight. If you don't tell me straight, God will be very angry with you.
So Samuel told him the whole story, right to the end. Eli said,
Truly, he is the great God. He can do whatever he wants.
After that, Samuel grew up to become a man, and God was with him, so the words he said were really true. All the Israel mob knew him, everybody from every place, from the north to the south. They all knew that Samuel was God's messenger. Lots of times God came to him at that place called Shiloh. He showed himself to Samuel and told his message to him.
1 Samuel chapter 4.
That's the way Samuel talked to all the Israel mob.
The Philistia mob stole God's special box. 1 Samuel chapter 4, verse 1.
At that time, a lot of soldiers from Philistia came together to fight the Israel mob. The Israel mob camped near a place called Ebenezer. The Philistia mob camped near a place called Aphek. The two armies met in the middle for a big fight. The Philistia mob killed dead lots of the Israel mob. 4,000 of them died. After that, the Israel mob went back to their camp. The elders asked each other,
What did God let them beat our mob? Let's go to Shiloh to get God's special box. If we have that box with us, God will help us whenever we fight the Philistia mob.
So they sent some men to Shiloh to get God's special box. They thought, that box will be with us, so God will help us. Eli's two sons, Hophni and Phinehas, they went along too to watch over the special box. God is the boss of everything. He sits on that box between the two statues of angel messengers. After they brought the box to their camp, the Israel mob was so happy that they shouted out real loud. Their shouts were so loud they made the ground shake. The Philistia mob heard it, and they asked each other,
What's happening? Why are the Israel mob shouting?
Then they heard that the Israel mob had God's special box with them, and they got frightened, and they said to each other,
Oh no, their God has come to them. This is the first time this sort of thing has happened to us. Now we're in big trouble. Nobody can save us from their powerful gods. Their gods helped them when they were in the desert. They hit the Egypt mob with all kinds of sickness and other trouble. So we Philistia mob, we have to stay strong. We've got to beat them so that we will be their bosses. Otherwise they might become our bosses. Don't be afraid of them. Let's be real men and hit them hard.
And they really did get properly strong. They attacked the Israel mob again, and they killed dead lots of Israel's soldiers. 30,000 of them died. Then the Philistia mob stole God's special box, and they killed dead Eli's 2 sons, Hophni and Phinehas. They died there too. The other Israel soldiers, they just ran away. They ran straight back home.
Eli died. 1 Samuel chapter 4, verse 12.
On that day, a messenger ran from the fighting with the bad news. He was from Benjamin's tribe. He tore his clothes and put dirt on his head to show he was upset about it. And he ran all the way to Shiloh. Eli was a really old man by this time. He was 98 years old, and he was blind. He sat in a chair beside the road. He worried about God's special box. He was afraid something bad might happen to it. After the messenger arrived at that place, he went around and told the bad news, and lots of people started to cry. Eli heard it and called out to the man.
What's happening? Why is everybody crying like that?
The man ran over to Eli and said,
Old man, I ran away from the fighting.
The old man asked.
What happened?
He answered,
We Israel mob ran away from the Philistia mob. They killed dead lots of our soldiers. And your 2 sons are dead too. And they even stole God's special box from us.
Eli was still on his chair at the door. After he heard that the Philistia mob stole the special box, he fell over backwards, and he broke his neck and died. You see, he was an old man and very fat. He was boss of the Israel mob for 40 years.
1 Samuel chapter 5. God made trouble for the Philistia mob. Verse 1.
So the Philistia mob stole God's special box. They took it from Ebenezer to a town called Ashdod in Philistia country. They carried it into the house of their god. They called him Dagon. In that house was a big statue of Dagon made of stone. The Philistia mob used to show respect to that statue, just like it was real, and they put God's special box next to it in that house. The next morning, the Ashdod mob got up, and they saw their statue. It lay on the ground, on its belly, in front of God's special box. So they stood it up again. The next morning, they saw it on the ground like that again. It was lying there on its belly, in front of God's special box. Its body was still good, but its head and arms were broken off. They lay in the doorway. So Dagon's workers and everybody else, they did not want to walk through that door anymore. They jumped through the doorway every time they went inside that house, so they would not step on the place where bits of Dagon used to be, and they still do that. Then God made trouble for the people of Ashdod and the country around that town. He made everybody really sick with lots of boils. After they saw that bad sickness, they said to each other,
"We're in big trouble with the God of the Israel mob, and now he hits Dagon as well. We've got to throw away that special box."
So they sent messengers to the bosses from other places of the Philistine nation to come and meet together at Ashdod. They asked them,
What will we do with this box of the God of the Israel mob?
They answered,
"Send it to another place now, to the town called Gath."
So then they took the special box to Gath. But after they took it there, God made trouble for the Gath mob in the same way. Everybody got really sick with lots of boils. All the kids and the adults got sick. That made them really frightened. So the Philistine mob took the special box to another place, this time to the town called Ekron. After they arrived at Ekron with the special box, lots of people from that place shouted out as they saw it,
"Oh no, they have brought that special box here now. We will all die."
So they sent messengers to the bosses from other places to come and meet together at Ekron. This time they said,
"Send it away. Send it back to its own country. It might finish us up and everybody else in Philistia."
Lots of people in that place died from the same sickness. That's how God made them frightened. He made big trouble for all the Philistine mob. The other people that were still alive, they were really sick with lots of boils. They cried out to their gods to ask them to help.
1 Samuel chapter 7. God rescued the Israel mob at Mizpah. Verse 1.
The Kiriath Jearim mob took God's special box back to their country, to the house of a man called Abinadab. That house stood on the top of a hill, and they picked his son Eleazar to look after that box. God's special box stood there at that house for 20 years. All that time, the Israel mob felt sad. They thought God left them, so they kept on asking him to help them. Then Samuel asked them,
Is it true that you mob want to turn back to God? Well, you have to do this. Throw away all those statues made of wood and stone. Throw away those statues of women called Astarte. Those things do not belong to us Israel mob. They are from another place. You mob have to show respect only to God. Turn back to him. Give yourselves only to him. If you do that, he will save you from the Philistine mob.
So the Israel mob listened to him and threw away all those things, those statues like men call Baal, and those other statues like women call Astarte. And they turned back to God and showed respect only to him. Then Samuel told them all,
Send messengers to every place. I want all the Israel mob to meet together at that place called Mizpah. Then I will pray to God for everybody there.
So they all met together at Mizpah. They got some water from a spring and poured it on the ground. That was their way to tell God that they felt shamed. They were sorry that they showed respect to those statues. On that day, they didn't eat any food as they prayed to him. They prayed like this.
Our God, we did wrong things. We didn't follow your way.
That's the way Samuel led the people to go the right way. After the bosses from Philistia heard that the Israel mob came together at Mizpah, they took their soldiers to that place. The Israel mob heard they were coming, and they got frightened. So they said to Samuel,
Pray to God for us. Keep on praying. Don't stop. Ask him to save us from the Philistia mob.
Then Samuel got a young sheep, and he burned all of it to give it to God. He kept on praying for the Israel mob, and God took notice of him. God heard Samuel's prayer. While he burned the young sheep, the Philistia mob came close, ready to attack the Israel mob. But suddenly, God made a really loud noise, and it sounded like thunder. The Philistia mob got really frightened and confused, so the Israel mob easily beat them. They chased them from Mizpah almost as far as a place called Beth-kar, and they killed lots of people dead along the way. The Philistia mob ran away and went home. Then Samuel got a big stone and stood it up halfway between two places, Mizpah and Shen, so that everybody will remember the things that happened. And he said,
God was helping us.
So he called the stone Ebenezer. That name means stone that belongs to the one that helps us. The Philistia mob sat quiet for a long time. They didn't come back to the Israel mob's country. So God saved them from the Philistia mob for a long time, until Samuel became an old man.
1 Samuel chapter 8. The Israel mob asked for a big boss. Verse 1.
Samuel had 2 sons. His older son was called Joel. His younger son was called Abijah. After Samuel became an old man, he picked them to be bosses for the Israel mob. They were court judges, working at the place called Beersheba. But they were not like their father. They were greedy. They thought only about money. Bad men used to give them money in a quiet way, and then they used to let those bad men go free. So all the elders of Israel met together at the town called Ramah to talk to Samuel. They said,
You are an old man now. Your sons don't live straight like you, so they shouldn't be judges for us. You have to pick one man to be the big boss for us. In other countries, they have one big boss. We want to be the same as them.
Samuel wasn't happy about that, so he prayed to God. God said to him,
Listen to them. Do what they are asking. They don't hate you. Really, it's me they hate. They hate their God. They don't want me to be their boss anymore. That's the way it was a long time ago, while I led their grandfathers back from that country called Egypt. They used to turn away from me and show respect to gods from other places. Today they still do the same thing. And now they don't want you or your family to be bosses either. But it's good to listen to them. Let them have a big boss. But warn them carefully. If you have that sort of big boss, he will make it hard for you, mob. He will make you do all kinds of hard things for him.
Samuel told that story to the elders, just as God told it to him.
We have not yet translated chapter 8, verse 11 to 18.
But they didn't listen to him. They said,
No, we want a big boss. In other places, there is a big boss. We want that here too. We want a big boss to lead us whenever we fight with other mobs.
Samuel told God everything that the elders said to him. God said,
Listen to them. Do as they ask. Give them a big boss.
So Samuel said to the elders,
All right, I'll do that. So go back home now, all of you.
1 Samuel chapter 9. God picked Saul to be the big boss for the Israel mob. Verse 1.
There was an old man called Kish. He was an important man. He was from Benjamin's tribe. His father was Abiel. His grandfather was Zerah. His great-grandfather was Bechorath. And his great-great-grandfather was Aphiah. Kish had a son called Saul. He was a young man with a properly good-looking face, and he was a lot taller than anybody else of the Israel mob. Kish had some donkeys, and one day those donkeys wandered away and got lost. Kish said to his son Saul,
Go and look for those donkeys. Take one of the working men with you.
So they went off to look for them. First they went and looked in the hill country that belongs to the Ephraim tribe. From there they went and looked in Shalisha country, but nothing. They didn't find them. From there they went to look in the Shalim country. Still nothing. They also looked in the country that belongs to the Benjamin tribe, but they didn't find them. They went as far as the Zuph country. Then Saul said,
We've come a long way. Let's go back, or my father might worry about us now instead of those donkeys.
But his working man said,
Wait a minute. What about that old man that tells God's messages? He lives in this place. Everybody knows that he is God's man. Whenever he says that something is going to happen, later it happens. We can ask him. He might tell us the place to look for the donkeys.
We have not yet translated chapter 9, verse 7 to 13.
After they got to that place, they saw the old man Samuel as he came towards them. He wanted to go up the hill to the place where they used to burn meat to give to God. You see, God talked to him the day before that. God said to him,
I see that the Philistia mob makes trouble for my people. They cried out to me to help them, and I am listening to them. At about this time tomorrow, I will send a young man to you. He is from Benjamin's tribe. He will rescue my people from the Philistia mob. Pour olive oil on his head to show that I pick him to be the big boss for my people, the Israel mob.
Samuel saw Saul as he came towards him, and God said to him,
There he is. He's the one I told you about yesterday. He will be the big boss for my people.
So Samuel waited for him at the town gate. You see, Saul hadn't met that old man before. He didn't know him. So he said to him,
They say there's an old man that sees dreams from God, and he lives in this place. Where is his house?
Samuel answered,
That's me. I'm the man that sees dreams. You two go ahead up that hill, to that place. We burn meat there to give it to God. Today you will both eat with me, and tomorrow I will tell you whatever you want to know. Then you can go back home. Oh, and those donkeys that ran away 3 days ago, don't worry about them. Other people already found them. But think about this story now. Lots of people are saying one of Kish's mob should be the big boss for us, the Israel mob.
We have not yet translated chapter 9, verse 21 to 24.
Later on, they came back from the top of the hill to Samuel's house, and Samuel took Saul up onto the flat roof to a clear place so they could talk to each other. It was cool up on the roof at night, so Saul and his working man slept up there. Early the next morning, Samuel called out,
Get up, you two. It's time to go home now.
Saul got ready. Then he and Samuel started to walk to the town gate. Samuel said to him,
Send your working man ahead. You wait here. I want to tell you the word of God.
So the working man started to walk ahead.
1 Samuel chapter 10.
Samuel got some olive oil and poured it on Saul's head, and then he kissed him on both his cheeks to show that he was his friend, and he said,
I pour this oil to show that God picked you to be the big boss for his people.
We have not yet translated chapter 10, verse 1b to 4.
Then Samuel told Saul,
You can start going home now. Soon you will arrive at the hill near the town called Gibeah. There is an army camp for soldiers from Philistia at that place. People get together on the top of that hill to burn meat to give it to God. When you arrive, you will see a group of men who tell God's message coming down that hill. And you will see other people in front of them with all kinds of musical instruments. Those messengers and the musical people, they will all have special power from God, and they will tell his message. And God's Spirit will also come to you, and he will give you that power too. Then you will be a different person, and you will tell his word whenever the men that tell God's message meet together. And after you see it happen like this, you will know that God will stay close to you. He will help you to do anything you think is right.
We have not yet translated chapter 10, verse 8.
Saul turned around and started to leave that place. Then God suddenly changed him. That day he told people God's word, just like Samuel said.
We have not yet translated chapter 10, verse 10 to 16.
After that, Samuel told the Israel mob to come together at the place called Mizpah. So they met together at that place.
We have not yet translated chapter 10, verse 18 to 23.
Samuel told Saul to stand up in front of them, and he said to everybody,
Look at this man. God picked him to be the big boss. There's nobody else like him.
They all shouted happily.
Yes, he will be our big boss forever.
We have not yet translated chapter 10, verse 25 to 27. 1 Samuel, chapter 11. Saul's soldiers rescued lots of people at Jabesh. Verse 1.
After that, the big boss of the mob called Ammon went to the town called Jabesh in the Gilead country. His name was Nahash, and he came with big mobs of soldiers. They all stood in a circle around Jabesh. Nobody in the town could go outside. Then the Jabesh mob sent a messenger to that boss. He said,
Don't kill us dead. We will let you be our boss. We will be your workers. Let us all agree about that. You promise not to kill us dead, and we will promise to be your workers.
Nahash sent the messenger back to say,
All right. I will not kill you mob dead. I will just take out your eyes. I will take out the right eye from every one of you. That's the way I will shame you, Israel mob. Whenever people from other places look at you, mob, you will feel ashamed.
The elders from that place sent the messenger back. They told him to tell Nahash,
First let us wait for 7 days. We will send messengers to every place in Israel. Maybe somebody will come to help us. Maybe not. If not, we will give ourselves to you. Then you can take out our eyes.
So the messengers went around to every place in Israel. They arrived at Saul's camp at Gibeah with the bad news. The people there heard it, and they cried out loud. Saul was out in the garden. As he came back with 2 bulls, he heard them crying and asked,
What's happening? Why is everybody crying?
They told him the story the messengers said. Saul heard that message, and then the Spirit of God came to him and gave him special power. He got wild with that boss from Ammon. He killed his 2 bulls, and he cut them into bits. Then he gathered lots of messengers together, and he gave a bit of meat to each one. He sent them to every place in Israel to say,
Look at this bit of meat. Every man has to follow Saul and Samuel to fight the Ammon mob. If any man stays behind, Saul will cut up his bulls into little bits like this meat.
God made Saul so strong that he made everybody frightened. So all the men came together. Saul gathered them all together at a place called Bezek. 300,000 men came from the Israel mob, and 30,000 came from the Judah mob. Those men told the messengers from Jabesh,
Tell that Jabesh mob, tomorrow morning we'll hunt away that Ammon mob and then rescue you mob before the middle of the day.
The Jabesh mob heard that, and they were very happy. So they sent a messenger back to the boss from Ammon to tell him a lie and say,
Tomorrow we will give ourselves to you. You can do whatever you like to us then.
Before the sun came up, Saul divided his fighting men into 3 groups. At daylight, they ran into the Ammon mob's camp and killed lots of them dead. They kept on killing them until the middle of the day. Only a few Ammon men were left, and they ran away in all directions.
1 Samuel chapter 15. Saul didn't listen to God. Verse 1.
One day, Samuel came to Saul and said,
Listen, Saul, God is the boss of everybody. He was the one that told me to pick you to be the big boss for his people, the Israel mob. So listen to this message that he told me today. He said, a long time ago, as the grandfathers of you Israel mob came from Egypt, the Amalek mob attacked them. They did wrong to my people, and now I want to punish them. So, Saul, I want you mob to go and kill the Amalek mob dead. Burn everything that belongs to them. Kill everything until there's nothing left. Kill the men, women, kids, babies, bulls, cows, sheep, camels, and donkeys too. Kill everything. That's the way you have to give them all to me.
So Saul sent messages to every place to tell the soldiers to meet together at a place called Telaim. Lots of soldiers came together at that place. There were 200,000 soldiers from Israel and 10,000 from Judah. Then Saul led them to the town where the Amalek mob lived, and they went and hid in a gully nearby. At that time, the Ken mob lived in that country. Saul sent a messenger to them to say,
I want to finish up all the Amalek mob, so you Ken mob have to get out of the way. A long time ago, you mob helped us Israel mob as we came from Egypt, so I can't hurt you now.
So the Ken mob moved away from that place. Then Saul and his men chased the Amalek mob from the place called Havilah in the east to the place called Shur in the west. Shur was halfway between Israel and Egypt. Saul's mob killed dead all the men and the women and the kids. They finished them up properly. But they didn't kill the boss of the Amalek mob, a man called Agag. They kept him alive. They also kept a lot of the animals alive. They took all the good sheep and goats, and all the good cows and bulls, and their young ones too. They only killed the rubbish animals dead. They didn't finish all the animals properly. That day, God said to that old man Samuel,
Saul didn't listen to me. He's turned away from me. Now I'm sorry that I picked him to be the big boss.
Samuel heard that message, and he was very angry and upset. All night he talked to God about it. Early the next morning, Samuel got up and went to look for Saul. Other people told him,
Saul isn't here. He went to the place called Carmel. After he finished up the Amalek mob, he wanted everybody to think he was a great soldier, so he stood up a big stone there to remind them. Then he went to another place called Gilgal.
Samuel went to Gilgal, and Saul said to him,
Samuel, I hope God makes you happy. I did everything he told me to do.
But Samuel said,
Really? So how come I can hear animals crying? I can hear sheep, goats, cows, and bulls.
Saul answered,
It was the soldiers. They did that. They took the good animals that belonged to the Amalek mob. They kept them alive to burn them for God. The other animals we finished properly.
But Samuel said,
Stop talking and listen carefully to me. God talked to me last night. Let me tell you about it.
Saul said,
Yes, tell me.
Samuel said,
At first, you called yourself nothing. You didn't try to be important. It was God that made you important. He picked you to be the big boss for the Israel mob. And then he told you to kill all those bad Amalek people. He told you to finish them up properly. So why didn't you listen to him? Why did you do something that he said was wrong? You kept the best animals, so he is angry with you.
Saul was confused. He said,
What? Truly I listened to God. I did everything he told me to do. I killed everybody dead, but I brought their boss Agag back alive. The soldiers only brought back the good animals. They got the best sheep, goats, cows and bulls for you to burn for God here at Gilgal.
But Samuel answered,
God wants people to listen to his word properly and do what he says. He doesn't want us to do wrong things and then burn meat or fat to give it to him. He really likes it when we do what he says. You know, if somebody doesn't listen to God, that person truly does wrong. If somebody prays to bad spirits, it's just the same. If somebody is proud, God is not happy with that person. If somebody shows respect to statues made of wood and stone, that's just the same. And you didn't listen to God, so he turned away from you. You did wrong things, so God says you can't be the big boss anymore.
Then Saul said,
I did wrong things. I didn't listen to God or to you. I was afraid of the soldiers, and I listened only to them. Please don't be angry with me. Please forgive me. Don't leave me now. Come back with me to the people. I want to get down on my knees and show respect to God.
But Samuel said to him,
No, I can't go back with you. You didn't listen to God, so he will not listen to you now. You did wrong things, so God has said you can't be the big boss anymore.
We have not yet translated chapter 15, verse 27 to 31.
Then Samuel said to the soldiers,
Where's that Agag, the Amalek mob's boss? Bring him to me.
They brought Agag to Samuel. Agag was not afraid, and he thought,
It looks like they will not kill me dead after all.
But Samuel said to him,
You kill people with your own long knife. Now lots of women have no children anymore. Well, just like that, your mother will have no children anymore.
So Samuel killed Agag dead right there at Gilgal, and God watched him do it. Then Samuel left and went back to his place in the town called Ramah. Saul went back to his place in Gibeah. After that, Samuel never saw Saul again. He was very sad about what Saul did, and God was sad too. He was sorry that he made Saul to be the big boss of Israel.
1 Samuel chapter 16. God picked David to be the big boss for the Israel mob. Verse 1.
After that, God said to Samuel,
Saul is not a good boss anymore. I will not help him now. Why do you keep on being sad for him? Forget about him now. Get a bottle of olive oil. Go and see that old man, Jesse, at the place called Bethlehem. I picked one of his sons to be the new big boss of Israel.
Samuel said,
I can't do that. Somebody might tell Saul, and he might kill me dead.
But God said,
Take a young cow with you. Say this to the Bethlehem mob. I came here to burn this young cow, to give it to God. And tell the old man Jesse and his sons to come too. At that time, I will show you the man that I picked. You have to pour olive oil on his head. That will show that I am picking him to be the big boss of Israel.
Samuel listened to God, and he went to Bethlehem. After he got there, the elders of the town came to meet him. They were really afraid. They were so frightened that they shook, and they asked,
Did you come with good news, or are you angry with us?
Samuel answered,
No, I came happily. I came to burn this young cow with you, mob, to give it to God. You have to wash and get ready. You have to be clean in God's way before we can burn this young cow.
He also told Jesse and his sons to come, and he helped them to get ready. After they came together, Samuel saw Jesse's oldest son. His name was Eliab. Samuel thought,
I reckon this is the one God has picked to be the big boss.
But God said to Samuel,
No, not this one. I didn't pick him. You just see that he has a strong, tall body. You people look at the outside of a person, but I know what they are like inside. I know the way they think.
So Samuel asked Jesse to send the next son to him. His name was Abinadab. He came, and Samuel said,
No, God hasn't picked this one.
Then Jesse sent Shammah, and Samuel said,
No, God hasn't picked this one either.
Jesse sent all 7 of his sons, one by one, to stand in front of Samuel. But Samuel said to him,
God hasn't picked any of these. Do you have another son?
Jesse answered,
Yes, there is my youngest son, David, but he is looking after the sheep out in the bush.
Samuel said,
Send somebody to get him and bring him here. We will wait for him. We can't sit down and eat the meat without him.
So Jesse sent somebody to get David. and he brought him back. David was a good-looking young man with a strong body and a nice face. God said to Samuel,
"This is the one. Stand up now and pour olive oil on his head. I picked him to be the next big boss."
So Samuel got the bottle of olive oil, and he poured oil on David's head while his older brothers were watching. God's Spirit went into David in a powerful way and stayed in him from that day on. Then Samuel went back to his place at Ramah.
David worked for the big boss Saul. 1 Samuel chapter 16, verse 14.
Then God's Spirit left Saul and did not go back to him. God sent a bad spirit that often made Saul frightened. His workers said to him,
Boss, we can see that God has sent a bad spirit to make you frightened. We will go and get somebody to come here and play the guitar for you. Whenever the bad spirit makes you frightened, he will play that guitar and you will feel better then.
Saul said to them,
Yes, go and look for somebody, a good guitar player. Bring him to me.
One worker said,
I know an old man in Bethlehem called Jesse. One of his sons plays the guitar, and he's a really good-looking young man. He's a good soldier too. He's brave, and he talks clearly. God is close to him.
So Saul sent messengers to Jesse to say,
The big boss Saul wants you to send your son to him, that David, the one that looks after the sheep.
So Jesse got a donkey, and he put lots of food on it. He also put some wine in leather bags on the donkey. He said to his son,
Go to the big boss's place and take this donkey and little goat with you.
From then on, David worked for Saul. He liked David very much, so he gave him another job. Whenever the Israel mob went to fight their enemies, David carried Saul's spear and shield for him. And Saul sent a messenger back to Jesse to say like this,
Saul likes David very much. Let him stay and work for Saul.
Lots of times God sent a bad spirit to make Saul angry. So David used to play his guitar to make him feel better. Then the bad spirit went away, and Saul felt better.
1 Samuel chapter 17. David killed the soldier Goliath dead. Verse 1.
At one time, the Philistia mob came together at the town called Soko in the Judah country to fight with the Israel mob. They camped at a place called Ephes Dammim. It is halfway between the town called Soko and the town called Azekah. Saul gathered the Israel soldiers together, and they camped in the valley called Elah. They got ready there to fight with the Philistia soldiers. There was a hill close by, so the Israel mob went up from the valley onto that hill. From there they saw the Philistia mob on the hill on the other side of the valley. One of the Philistia soldiers was a really big man called Goliath, and he was from a town called Gath. He was really tall, about 3 meters. In a fight, he used to put on iron plates to cover his body. One covered his head, and 2 others covered his legs. Another covered his chest, and it was really heavy. It was about 60 kilograms. He carried 2 fighting spears, a short one and a long one. The short one was made of a brown metal called bronze. It was in a belt over his shoulder. The long spear had a sharp point made of iron. The point was really heavy too, about 7 kilograms. Another soldier used to walk in front of Goliath to carry his shield for him. Every day, Goliath used to go out into the middle and call out to the Israel mob like this.
Hey, Israel mob, what are you waiting for? You call yourself soldiers. Look at me. I'm a real soldier from Philistia. You mob are just Saul's working men. Listen, you pick one man and send him to me, so the 2 of us can fight. If he kills me, we mob will let you take us all to Israel, to work for you mob. But if I kill him, we will take you mob back to Philistia to work for us. Don't be weak. Send one man to me so the 2 of us can fight.
Saul and the Israel mob heard that big man's words, and they got frightened and confused.
We have not yet translated chapter 17, verse 12 to 14. Those verses say that 3 of David's big brothers were in that Israel soldier mob with Saul.
That happened every day. Goliath used to go out and say that in the early morning and late afternoon. He did that for 40 days. At that time, David kept on going back from Saul's place to his father's place to look after his father's sheep. One day his father said,
Get this bag of cooked seed and get 10 loaves of bread. Take them to your big brothers. And take 10 big lumps of cheese too, and give them to the boss soldier. Go quickly, I'm worried about your big brothers. Bring back some news from them. Bring back something to show that they are still all right. Go to the valley called Elah. That's the place where Saul and our mob are fighting with the Philistia mob.
David listened to his father. Then he told another man to look after the sheep. The next morning, he put all that food on a donkey and went to the valley called Elah. After he got there, he saw the soldiers as they got ready to fight. They shouted to make themselves brave. The Israel mob and the Philistia mob watched each other across the valley. David gave the food to the man that was in charge of all the food. Then he ran out to the soldiers and said hello to his brothers. While they talked, that big man from Gath, Goliath, he went out into the middle as before, and he went around and shouted out loud, as he always did. And David heard him talk like that. Every time the Israel mob saw Goliath, they got frightened and ran away from him. You see, they already said to each other like this.
Every day that man comes to shame us and to make fun of us. But if one of our men kills him, Saul will give him big money. He will also give him his daughter to marry, and Saul will not make his family pay tax money.
David said to the men that stood near him,
That man gives us shame. He doesn't know God. Somebody has to shut him up. What will Saul give if somebody kills him? We can't let him make fun of the true God and his army. No way.
They told him the same thing.
Saul will give big money to the man that kills Goliath, and he will give him his daughter to marry. And Saul will not make his family pay tax money.
David's oldest brother, Eliab, heard them talking, and he was angry with David. He said to him,
Why did you come here? What about those few little sheep? Who is watching them today? You are doing wrong. Why do you try to make yourself big? I know what you are like. You just came here for fun, to see the fighting.
David asked,
Why are you angry with me? What did I do wrong? I'm just asking.
And he asked another man,
What will Saul give to the man that kills Goliath?
The man told him the same thing as before. Somebody went and told Saul about David. So Saul sent a man to get him. David said to him,
Boss, we can't be frightened of that man. I will go. I will fight with him myself.
Saul said,
No way. You can't fight with him. You are only a young man, and he's a brave soldier. He was a soldier since he was young.
But David said,
I look after my father's sheep and goats. A lion or a bear might grab a sheep and drag it away to eat. I chase it and I hit the cheeky animal until it lets the sheep go. If it tries to bite and scratch me, I grab it by the hair and kill it dead. I've killed lions and bears dead. That cheeky man is shaming God's army, so I will kill him the same way. God is the only powerful one. He has saved me from cheeky animals, and he will save me from that cheeky man too.
Saul said,
All right, you go and fight him. God will go with you.
Saul had some iron plates there to use in a fight. He used to put them on to cover his body. Those things were really heavy. He gave them to David to put on. He also gave him a hat made of bronze to cover the head. David also put on a belt and put Saul's long knife in it. It was the first time David put on heavy things like that, and he couldn't walk properly. And he said to Saul,
I can't walk like this. I've never used this kind of thing before.
So he took them off. He got his walking stick and his thing for throwing stones, called a sling, and he went down to the creek. He picked up 5 smooth stones, and he put them in his bag. Then he walked up towards that Philistine man. Goliath saw him and walked towards him also. The other soldier that carried his shield walked in front of him, and they came close to David. That big man laughed and made fun of David.
You are just a young man, a pretty boy. Why are you coming at me with a stick? Do you think I'm a dog? All right, come. I will kill you dead, so the birds and the wild animals can eat your body. I will kill you dead properly.
And he called out to his gods and told them to curse David. David answered,
You think you will kill me dead? You come to me with a long knife and 2 spears, but God sent me to fight you. He is the boss of everything. and he is with me now as I go to you, and I will kill you dead. God is the only powerful one, and he is the leader of the Israel soldiers. But you made fun of him. So today, God will help me to win, and I will kill you and cut off your head. Today, you Philistia mob will all lie dead, and the birds and the wild animals will eat your bodies. Then everybody would know that the only real God is Israel's God. All of us here will know that God looks after his people, but he doesn't have to use long knives and spears. He does it his way. God is boss of this fight. So we Israel mob will finish up all of you Philistia mob.
Goliath moved closer to hit David, but David quickly ran towards him. He took out a stone from his bag, and he used his sling to throw it at Goliath. And that stone hit Goliath on the forehead and went through the bone in his head. He fell on his face on the ground and lay there. And that's how David won. He didn't use a long knife. No, he killed that Philistia man dead, just with a sling and a stone. Then he ran up to him and stood on top of him. He took out the long knife from Goliath's belt and cut off his head. After the Philistia mob saw that their big soldier lay there dead on the ground, they all turned around and ran away. The Israel mob shouted out loud and chased them. They kept on chasing them along the Sharaim road as far as those two places called Gath and Ekron. Lots of Philistia people lay dead along that road.
1 Samuel chapter 18. Saul was jealous of David. Verse 1.
Then the Israel mob all went back home, and women came from lots of places to meet Saul, the big boss. They danced and sang happily. Some played little drums and others played guitars. They sang like this as they went.
Saul killed dead 1,000 enemy soldiers. David killed dead 10,000 of them.
Saul heard their words, and he was really angry. He thought,
They reckon David killed more enemy soldiers than me. Maybe they want to make him the boss of us Israel mob instead of me.
From then on, he was jealous of David, and he watched him all the time. The next day, God sent a bad spirit to Saul. It made him go really mad. He just sat there in his house and screamed. David played the guitar for him as before. Saul was holding a spear in his hand, and he thought,
I will spear David straight through and hang him on the wall.
So he threw it at him. But David quickly jumped out of the way, and the spear missed him. That happened 2 times, and he missed David each time.
1 Samuel chapter 19. Saul tried to kill David. Verse 1.
One day, Saul said to his son Jonathan and to his workers,
David has got to die. You have to kill him.
But Jonathan was good friends with David, so he told David,
Look out! My father is trying to kill you. Run away and hide over there in the bush. Wait there and watch out for somebody tomorrow morning. I will go for a walk with my father near the place you are hiding. I will talk to him about you. After he goes back, I will tell you whatever he says."
Next morning, Jonathan and his father went for a walk in the bush, and they talked about David. Jonathan said good things about David like this:
"He didn't do wrong to you. He did all kinds of good things for you. He did things that helped you. You can't do wrong to him now. He didn't worry about dying. He bravely fought that Philistia man, Goliath, and killed him dead. God used him to really help the Israel mob. You saw it too, and you were happy about it. Why do you want to kill him? He did nothing wrong."
Saul listened to his son Jonathan, and he said,
God hears us, so I'm talking straight to you. I will not try to kill David.
After Saul went back, Jonathan called to David to come out. He told him everything his father said. So they went back to Saul, and David started to work for him again. One day, the Philistia mob came again to fight with the Israel mob. David was a boss soldier at that time, and he attacked and killed lots of Philistia men dead. The rest of them ran away frightened. Then David went back to Saul's place to work for him again, and God sent a bad spirit to Saul again. David played the guitar as before. At that time, Saul was holding a spear in his hand, and he tried to spear him straight through and hang him on the wall. But again, David quickly jumped out of the way, and the spear only hit the wall. That night, David ran away safely from Saul's house. Saul sent men to watch David's house that night and to kill him in the morning. But while it was still night time, David's wife, Michal, she saw them and said to David,
"Run away quickly, right now. Don't wait, or in the morning they will kill you dead."
Then she put a rope down from the window, and he climbed down it and ran away safely.
1 Samuel chapter 20. Jonathan helped his brother-in-law David. Verse 1.
After that, David ran away from the community called Naioth in the town called Ramah. He went to Jonathan's place and asked him,
"What have I done? What wrong thing did I do? Why does your father keep on looking for me to kill me?"
Jonathan answered,
"No way. That is not true. He will not kill you. My father has not told me that he wants to do that. He always tells me what he is thinking. That's his way. He does not tell lies to me."
But David said,
"Listen, let God punish me if what I said is not true. Your father knows that you and I are close friends. We are also brothers-in-law. He might think like this: I can't tell my son. He might get upset. No, listen to me. God is listening, so I can't tell lies. Today, I might die."
Jonathan said,
"All right, if that's the way you feel, tell me what I should do for you now."
David said,
"Tomorrow, People will come together for the new moon ceremony, as they always do. Lots of people will be at your father's place to eat food together. He told me to come and eat with him there too. But for the first 2 nights, I don't want to be at the food table, but I will hide in the garden. Is that all right? If your father asks about me, tell him, David asked me, is it all right for me to go to my hometown, Bethlehem? Every year my family comes together there to kill animals and burn them for God. If he says, all right, you will know that he will not hurt me. But if he gets angry, you will know that he wants to kill me.
We have not yet translated chapter 20, verse 8 to 23.
So David went to hide in the garden. The next day, lots of people came together at Saul's place for the new moon ceremony. Saul sat down in his chair to eat. His chair was near the wall as usual. Jonathan sat on the other side of the table. The boss soldier, called Abner, was also there, in the chair next to Saul. But David was not there. His chair was empty. Saul noticed that he was not there, but he thought to himself,
Maybe something has happened to him, so he can't eat at the ceremony.
You see, God said that if something happened to somebody first, like maybe they touched a dead body, then they can't eat at a special ceremony. So Saul did not ask anybody about David. The next day, David's chair was still empty, so Saul asked Jonathan,
Why is David not here? And he was not here yesterday.
Jonathan answered, and he told a lie like this.
David kept on asking me to let him go to Bethlehem. He said, every year my family comes together there to burn animals and give them to God. My older brother told me to come. So please let me go to see my brothers. He told me that, and that's why he can't be here to eat food with you.
Saul got very angry with his son, and he yelled at him like this.
You stupid fool. I know that you listen to David and not to me. That's a shame job. You even shame your own mother. If David is still alive, you can't be boss in Israel after me. Send some men straight away to grab David and bring him to me. He has got to die.
Jonathan asked his father,
Why has he got to die? What wrong thing did he do?
But as soon as Saul heard that, he suddenly threw his spear at his son. He meant to kill him dead, but he missed. So then Jonathan knew that his father really wanted to kill David. Jonathan got wild and stood up and went outside. He was so upset that he did not eat anything all day. He was very sad that his father treated David so badly like that. The next morning he went out to the garden to meet with David.
We have not yet translated chapter 20, verse 35b to 41a.
David came out from behind a rock. He got down on his knees 3 times to show respect to Jonathan, his face near the ground. They kissed each other, and cried for each other. But David cried more than Jonathan. Jonathan said,
Go carefully now. God will take care of you. You and I will be friends forever. And God hears us whenever we talk like this. He will help your mob and my mob to live quietly forever.
So David went away then, and Jonathan went back again to his home.
1 Samuel chapter 21. An old man called Ahimelech helped David. Verse 1.
After that, David went to a place called Nob. There was an old man there called Ahimelech. He used to look after God's ceremonies. He saw David coming with no soldiers. There were just a few workmen with him. This made Ahimelech afraid. He was so frightened that he shook. He asked David,
Why did you come here, all by yourself? Where are your soldiers? What happened?
David told a lie. He said,
Saul sent me to do a secret job for him. I can't tell you about it. I told my soldiers to go ahead of me and to meet me at another place. Do you have any food? I need some. Maybe 5 loaves of bread, or maybe some other kind of food.
The old man said,
I have nothing. No bread. I only have this special bread that we make to give to God. Only men that do my kind of work can eat it. I'll let you take it, but only if your men have not slept with women, like men do with their wives.
David said,
Yes, we always do that when we work for the big boss. Today we have a special job to do, so we have to properly follow that rule. We have not slept with any women.
So the old man gave him the special bread that was left from the day before, because the fresh bread was still on God's table. On that same day, a working man came to that place to show respect to God. He heard David and Ahimelech as they talked together. His name was Doeg, and he came from the country called Edom. He worked for Saul, and he looked after Saul's sheep. David said to the old man,
I came with nothing. The big boss told me to go quickly, so I came without my spear and my long knife. Do you have one here?
The old man answered,
Yes, there is that long knife that belonged to Goliath from Philistia. You killed him dead down in the valley at Elah. That is all I have. If you like, you can take it. There it is, covered with a blanket, near the special ceremony clothes.
David said,
That is a good knife. It is better than anyone else's knife. Give it to me.
1 Samuel chapter 22. Saul told the soldiers to kill the men that looked after God's ceremonies. Verse 9.
That man Doeg from Edom, he went back and told Saul.
I saw David at Nob. He went to see the old man Ahimelech, Ahitub's son. That old man prayed to God for David. He asked God what David should do, and he gave him food. He also gave him the long knife that belonged to Goliath from Philistia.
As soon as Saul heard it, he sent a messenger to get Ahimelech and his family to come to him. You see, at that time, Ahimelech and the men in his family used to look after God's ceremonies at Nob. After they got Saul's message, they all went to his place. Then Saul said,
Listen to me, son of Ahitub.
And Ahimelech said,
What is it, boss?
Saul asked,
Why do you want to trick me? You don't think about me anymore. You want to make David the big boss. You helped him with food, and you gave him a long knife. You even prayed to God for him. David has turned against me. He's just waiting to kill me dead sometime.
The old man answered,
No way, boss. David truly works for you. He is your best worker, and he is also your son-in-law, a boss soldier. Everybody that works for you respects him very much. I have prayed lots of times to God for him, but you did not get angry with me before. Do not blame me and my family. We know nothing about whatever is going on.
But Saul said,
You and everybody in your family will die today.
And he told his workers,
Kill all these men dead. They listened to David and not to me. They knew that he ran away from me, but they did not tell me.
But the workers said,
No, we can't kill these men that look after God's ceremonies.
So Saul said to Doeg,
All right, you killed those men yourself.
Doeg was from Edom, a different country. He didn't care about those men, so he listened to Saul and did what he said. He got up straight away, and he killed dead 85 men that looked after God's ceremonies, men that used to wear the special ceremony clothes. Then he went to Nob, the town where Ahimelech's family lived. They were the people who used to look after God's ceremonies. Doeg killed dead everybody there too. He killed men dead, also women, kids, babies, bulls, donkeys and sheep. He killed everything dead. Only one man ran away safely from there. His name was Abiathar, one of Ahimelech's sons. He ran away and joined up with David's mob.
1 Samuel, chapter 24. David shamed Saul properly. Verse 1.
Another time Saul and his soldiers went to fight with the Philistine mob. After they came back, somebody told him this story.
David's mob are in the desert at En-Gedi.
So Saul got 3,000 of his best soldiers together from every place in Israel, and they went off to look for David and his men in the hill country, near a place called the Rocks of the Wild Goats. There were yards for sheep and goats at that place, near a cave. David and his men were in that place before Saul and his men got there. And David's mob went into the cave to hide. Later on, Saul and his men came, and Saul went into the cave by himself to go to the toilet. But David and his men were already in that cave, right at the back. The cave was very big, so Saul did not see them. David's men said to him,
You remember that God said this, I will help you beat your enemy that does wrong to you. You can do whatever you like to him. So you can kill him dead now.
David went quietly up behind Saul and cut off a little bit of his coat with his knife. Saul just sat there. He did not know what David was doing. But after he cut off that bit of Saul's coat, David felt really shamed about it. He said to his men,
God picked Saul to be the big boss of Israel. So I can't do wrong to him. I can't touch him. No way.
In that way, David told them not to hurt Saul. Soon after that, Saul stood up and went out of the cave. David waited a few minutes. Then he went out too. He called out to Saul.
Hey, boss.
Saul looked back over his shoulder. David got down on his knees to show him respect. David said,
Some men reckon that I want to hurt you. Don't listen to them. Just now, God brought us together in this cave. I could do whatever I like to you. Some said to me, You can kill him dead now. But I was sorry for you. I said, No, I can't kill my boss. God picked him to be the big boss of Israel. Look at this, boss. I'm holding a little bit of your coat. I cut it off just then, when you were in the cave, but I did not kill you. This shows that I am not trying to do any wrong to you. I can't make myself the big boss instead of you. But you keep on looking for me, to kill me. One day, God will judge you and me. If you do wrong to me, He will punish you. But I can't kill you. No way. You know what people often say? Only bad people do bad things. I do not want to be a bad person, so I will not touch you.
We have not yet translated chapter 24, verse 14 to 15.
After David said that, Saul asked him,
Is that really you, my son David?
And he cried out loud. He said to David,
You are a good man. I am not. You are good to me, but I am giving you a hard time. And now you have just told me that you feel sorry for me. God brought us together in the cave, but still you did not kill me. Whenever a soldier finds his enemy, he can't let him go. He never does that. But you are not like that. You are good to me. You did good to me today, so God will do good to you. I know that one day you will be the big boss of Israel. So promise me right now, with God listening, that you will not kill my family dead after you become the big boss. And after you become the big boss, keep on being good to them, so that my family will not finish up.
David promised to do what Saul asked. Then Saul went back home, but David went back with his men to the hill country, and they stayed in a safe place.
1 Samuel chapter 25. Nabal and his wife Abigail. Verse 1.
About that time, the old man Samuel died. The Israel mob came together and cried for him. They buried him at his place in the town called Ramah. After that, David and his men went back to the desert country called Maon. There was a man there called Nabal. He belonged to Caleb's family. His farm was near the town called Carmel, in that Maon country. He had lots of money, 3,000 sheep and 1,000 goats. He was a hard man and a cheeky man. His wife was called Abigail. She was very beautiful and very clever. One day, Nabal started to cut wool from the sheep. They always used to have a party after they finished that job. David was in the desert country nearby, and he heard about it. So he told 10 young men,
"Go to Carmel and see that man Nabal. Say to him, 'Our boss David says to say hello to you. God will look after you and your family and your animals. I heard that you are now cutting wool from your sheep. You know, whenever we camped with your workmen that look after your sheep in the bush, we always looked after them carefully and did not steal from them. Other soldiers are thieves, but we are good to other people, and we don't think about stealing. You can ask your workers. They will tell you the same story. It is like we are your working men too. So please be good to us. I also heard that it is party time at your place. But think about us too. Can you give us some food?"
The young man went to Nabal's place and told him David's message. But at first, Nabal did not answer. Then he asked them,
"Who does this man David think he is? That son of Jesse is just like other workers that run away from their bosses. I only give bread, meat and water to my own workers. I can't just give it to some other mob. I don't know where they came from."
So they went back to tell David what Nabal said. Then David said to his men,
"Get your long knives, you mob. We will go and fight him."
They got their long knives and put them in their belts. And David got his long knife as well. He went off with 400 of his men. His 200 other men stayed behind to watch the camp. One of Nabal's workers heard what Nabal said to David's men, and he ran to tell Abigail, Nabal's wife. He told her,
David sent messengers from the desert country to talk to our boss, but he talked badly to them. Truly David's mob were good to us while we looked after the sheep. They did not steal from us. Day and night they watched over us whenever we looked after the sheep. This boss of ours has made trouble for us now. Something really bad might happen to us here. Can you do something about it? He's no good. I can't talk to him at all."
Abigail did not wait. She quickly gathered all kinds of things together. She got 200 loaves of bread and 2 leather bags that were full of wine, and 5 cooked sheep, and 5 bags of cooked seeds, and lots of fruit like bush tomato, and lots of fruit like bush figs. And she put all this food on some donkeys. She said to her workers,
"You must go ahead. I will follow behind you."
She did not say anything to her husband about it. So Abigail went off on a donkey. You see, David talked to himself like this as he went along.
"I looked after Nabal's men and his sheep in the desert country just for nothing. I didn't take anything that belonged to him. I was good to him, but he talked badly about me. Tonight, while it is still dark, I will kill all the men and boys at his place. If I do not do that, I will ask God to make big trouble for me."
That's the way David talked. As Abigail went along on her donkey, she went through a gap in the hills. She saw David as he came with his men. As soon as she saw him, she quickly jumped off the donkey and got down on her knees to show respect to him. Her face close to the ground, she said,
Boss, please wait and listen to me now. Be angry with me, not Nabal. Forget him. Do not listen to that no-good man. That name Nabal means mad one. He's always like that. You see, I was not there at the time your workers came to our place. But now I have brought all kinds of food for you and your men to eat. So don't be angry with us now. I know for sure that it is God that stopped you here, so that you did not kill lots of people dead. And I want God to kill anybody that does wrong to you, just like I reckon he will kill Nabal one day. So please let us go, even though my husband did wrong to you. I know that God will make you the big boss of all of us Israel mob. And later, after you die, your family will keep on being our bosses. I know that you fight against the people that God wants to fight. I hope you will keep on living straight always for the rest of your life. If other people chase you to kill you, God will look after you and will keep you safe. You are His special one. He will soon finish up those other people. After He does that, you will be boss in Israel, the way He promised before. So here today, do not do payback to us. Do not kill us just for nothing. If you kill us, you will bring big shame on yourself. If you kill people now that are not guilty, it will be a problem for you later. But if you don't kill us, that will be good. I know that God will make you the big boss one day. At that time, please, do not forget me, but be good to me.
That's the story Abigail told David. Then David settled down and said to Abigail,
"I reckon God is really great. He sent you to meet me here. You thought carefully about it. Then you came and met me here. So now I ask God to be good to you. Yes, I came to fight, but you stopped me. So I didn't kill lots of people dead. God knows that this is true. He stopped me, or I might have killed you mob dead. Every man and boy in this place might have died before tomorrow morning. But you came quickly to meet me and stop me."
And David thanked her, and he told his men to get all the food from Abigail. And he said to her,
"All right, you can go home now. I have heard you, and I will do what you are asking me."
While Abigail was away, other people came together at their house to have a big party with her husband. Nabal was happy, and he got very drunk. After Abigail got back, she did not tell him about David. In the morning, Nabal was sober, so Abigail told him about David. As soon as he heard, he was so shocked that he had a stroke. He became just like a stone and couldn't move. After 10 days, God hit him properly, and he died. As soon as David heard that Nabal was dead, he said,
Praise God, that old man talked badly to me. He talked very badly, so God finished him properly. God also stopped me so that I didn't do wrong.
So David sent messengers to Carmel, and they went and said to Abigail,
David sent us. He wants you to come with us to marry him.
She got down on her knees to show respect. Her face close to the ground, and she said,
Yes, I will go. I am happy to work for him and his men, and I will even wash their feet too.
She quickly got on a donkey and went off. 5 working women also went with her. They all went to David's camp, and then David and Abigail got married. You see, David's first wife was Saul's daughter, Michal. But Saul took her away and gave her to another man called Paltiel. His father's name was Laish, and he came from a place called Gallim. After that, David got another wife called Ahinoam. She came from a place called Jezreel. So Abigail and Ahinoam, they were both his wives.
1 Samuel chapter 26. David shamed Saul again. Verse 1.
One day, some men from a place called Ziph went to see Saul at his place at Gibeah. They said,
David's mob are hiding in a cave at the hill called Hakilah, near Jeshimon town.
Saul quickly gathered together 3,000 of his best soldiers from Israel. They went off to look for David in the desert called Ziph. They camped in the hill country beside the road. David's mob stayed in the bush. After he heard that Saul was at Hakilah, he sent some men to have a look. They saw that Saul's mob really was there, so they came back and told David. That night, David went close to Saul's camp. From his hiding place, he saw Saul and the boss soldier Abner, Ner's son. They slept in the middle. The other soldiers all slept around them. There were 2 men with David. They were Ahimelech, the man who used to belong to the Heth mob, and Abishai, Zeruiah's son. Zeruiah was David's older sister. Her other son was Joab. David said to them,
I am going to go quietly into the middle of their camp, to where Saul is. Which of you 2 will do that with me?
Abishai said,
I'll go with you.
So in the middle of the night, David and Abishai went quietly into Saul's camp. Everybody was asleep. They found Saul asleep in the middle of the camp. His spear stood there, stuck in the ground near his head. Other soldiers lay asleep nearby. One of them was Abner, the boss of Saul's soldiers. Abishai said,
Boss, look at this. God wants you to kill that old man. He did wrong to you. I will stab him right through with his spear. I'll only stab him one time. I'll use that spear like it is a big pin, and I'll pin him to the ground, and he will die straight away."
But David answered,
"You can't kill him. God will punish you. He picked Saul to be our big boss. Sometime God himself will finish him up. Maybe through sickness, maybe through fighting. But not us. We can't kill him. God does not want me to kill this man that he picked. Let's just take his spear and that billy can of water that is near his head, and we will go back."
So David took the spear and the billy can, and they went away quietly. Nobody saw them. God made everybody sleep properly, so nobody woke up. Then they went across to the other side of the valley and stood on the top of a hill a long way away. David called out to Abner.
"Hey Abner, can you hear me?"
He answered,
Who's that calling out? Who's waking up the big boss?
David made fun of him, and he said,
"Abner, what kind of man are you? You call yourself a big boss soldier, greater than all the other soldiers? But you don't look after your boss. Just now, somebody went into your camp and nearly killed him dead. You are a boss soldier for nothing. God should kill you and your soldiers too. You mob don't look after the big boss, the one God picked. Look there. Where's the big boss's spear? Where's his billy can? I've got those two things here."
Saul heard David's voice and said,
David, my son, is that you talking?
David answered,
"Yes, boss, it's me. Why do you always chase me? I did not do anything wrong. Why do you blame me? Listen carefully to me. Did God tell you to hate me? If yes, then I have to burn meat to give to him, so he will change his mind. But maybe it was some other men that told you to hate me. They hunted me away from my people, so God has to punish them. They don't let me live in my country. I'm like a stranger. I have to live in another country now. The people there follow other gods. I can't live for God properly. This place is a long way from God. I do not want to die here. I'm just nobody, not a boss man. Why do you keep on looking for me? You keep on chasing me like you are hunting for meat."
Saul said,
I did the wrong thing. You are good to me. I can't do wrong to you again. You didn't kill me, but I truly did wrong. I was a stupid fool. You are like my son. Come back to me.
David said,
"Your spear is here. Send a man to come and get it. Just now, God brought us together, and I did not kill you. He picked you to be boss, so I will not kill you. God is good to people that listen to him. He is good to people that live straight. That's why I want him to be good to me. I want him to keep me alive, just like I was good to you today and did not kill you."
Then Saul said,
Truly, God will be good to you. You will do great things for him. Whatever you do will work out well.
Then David left that place, and Saul went back home.
1 Samuel chapter 28. Saul talked to Samuel's spirit. Verse 3.
A long time before this, Saul stopped the clever men and women from talking to the spirits of dead people, and he hunted them away from Israel. You see, that is in God's law. When the old man Samuel died, the Israel mob all cried for him, and they buried him in his own town called Ramah. Sometime later, the Philistia mob came together at a place called Shunem to fight with the Israel mob. Saul gathered his soldiers together at another place called Gilboa, not far from Shunem. As soon as he saw the Philistia mob, he was really frightened and confused. He prayed to God, but God did not answer him. God didn't talk to Saul in dreams, and nobody came to bring him a word from God. Nothing. So he got the special stone that they used to find out what God wanted, and he threw it down to see if it lay on its back or on its side. But still God did not show him anything. So Saul said to his men,
Go and look for a clever woman, one that can talk to dead people's spirits. I want her to ask Samuel for me. He might give me an answer.
They said to him,
There's one at that place called Endor.
So Saul put on some working man's clothes to make himself look different. Then at night he went with 2 of his men to look for that woman. He found her and said,
Will you talk to a dead man for me? I will call the dead man's name, and you get him for me.
But the woman said,
I can't do that. You know, Saul hunted the clever men and women away from Israel. You are making trouble for me. If I do this for you, Saul might send people to kill me dead.
Saul answered,
God is listening, so I tell you straight, nobody can kill you or do payback to you.
The woman answered,
All right. Who do you want me to get for you?
Saul said,
That old man Samuel, get him for me.
Then she talked to Samuel's spirit, and he came to her. As soon as she saw him, she was frightened and yelled at Saul.
You tricked me. You are Saul.
Saul said,
It's all right. Don't be frightened. What can you see?
She said,
I can see a spirit coming out of the ground here.
Saul asked.
What does it look like?
She said,
It's an old man wearing long clothes.
Saul knew it was Samuel, and he got down on his knees and put his face near the ground to show respect to that spirit. Samuel said,
I was dead. Why did you wake me up? Why did you bring me back?
Saul stood up and answered,
Things are really bad for me now. The Philistia mob will try to kill me dead. God turned away from me, and he doesn't answer me. He doesn't talk to me through a man or a dream. Nothing. That's why I'm here now, to ask you what I have to do.
Samuel said,
Yes, God turned away from you. He's your enemy now. Why do you ask me to help you? While I was alive, he told me the story about you, and I told it to you. Now it's come true. You are not the big boss of Israel anymore. God has already picked David to be the big boss instead of you. You did not listen to God, so he did that. He was angry with the Amalek mob, so he told you to finish all of them up, and their animals too. He told you what to do, but you didn't do it. So now the Philistia mob will kill you and your soldiers. Tomorrow, God will let them beat you, mob. They will kill you and your sons dead. You will all come to sit with me here, with all the dead people.
You see, from early that day, Saul didn't eat any food, and he ate nothing all that night too, so he was weak. And as soon as he heard Samuel's words, he got very frightened. He was so weak that he fell to the ground. The woman saw Saul on the ground. He was shaking, and she said,
Look, I listened to you. I was afraid you might kill me, but I did like you asked. Now you have to listen to me. Let me give you some food to make you strong again, so you can go back home.
But he said,
No, I can't eat.
Then his 2 men said the same thing.
Boss, you have to eat some food.
He listened to them and got up and sat on a chair. There was a fat young cow at that place. It belonged to the woman, and she quickly killed it. While the meat was cooking, she got some flour and cooked a flat damper. She gave food to Saul and the other 2 men. After they ate it, they went back to their camp while it was still dark.
1 Samuel chapter 31. Saul and his 3 sons died. Verse 1.
After that, the Philistia mob fought with the Israel mob. They fought on the hill called Gilboa. Lots of Israel's soldiers died there, and the other soldiers got frightened and ran away. The Philistia mob chased Saul and his sons, and they got closer and closer. Then they killed dead Saul's sons, Jonathan, Abinadab, and Malchishua. The soldiers that were close to Saul fought hard. The Philistia mob shot Saul lots of times with bows and arrows, and they hurt him very badly. Saul talked to one of the soldiers there, the one that carried his shield for him. He said,
Get your long knife and stab me. I don't want that mob to kill me dead. They don't know God. They might make fun of me as they kill me.
The soldier was frightened and did not want to stab him. So Saul got the knife and stabbed himself in his belly and killed himself. Then that soldier saw that his boss was dead. So he stabbed himself and died too. That's how Saul died, and his sons, and the man that carried his shield, and his soldiers. They all died on that day. The people that saw what happened told this bad news to everybody along the Jezreel Valley and across the Jordan River. The Israel mob in all those places heard it, and they ran away frightened. They left their towns empty, and the Philistia mob went and lived in those towns. The next day, the Philistia mob went back up the hill at Gilboa to get stuff from the dead bodies. They saw the dead bodies of Saul and his 3 sons there. They cut off Saul's head and took off his heavy iron plates. Then they sent messengers to every place in Philistia to tell the story to the people and in the houses of their gods. They put Saul's iron plates in one of those houses, the house of the female god called Astarte. At Bethshan, they hung Saul's dead body on the wall that was around the town. The people from another place called Jabesh in the Gilead country, they heard the bad news too. They remembered that Saul helped them before. They were very upset about the bad things the Philistia mob did to Saul. So that night, lots of brave men from Jabesh walked all night to Bethshan. They took down the bodies of Saul and his sons from the wall, and they carried them back to Jabesh. They burned the bodies and buried the bones under the big tree there. For the next 7 days they ate no food. They just sat sadly together and felt sorry for Saul.